My name is Brandy Hunt, and you are watching the Keith Andrew Network. And I believe he is an amazing talk show host, and you would be so honored to have him as your guest, talk show host, or just a guest.
Welcome to the very special Christmas episode. That's right, all of December will be a Christmas episode. Every single episode will be a Christmas theme edition. So that being said, I am your host, Keith Andrew. Along here is Brandy Hunt. And I just want to say thank you for being my guest.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No, the honor is all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them. Let me do that again. Whole point of my talk, hey, like I said, anything can happen. So I having one of those days.
That's okay. Take time.
Whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It is to prove to them you can still amount to something. Hashtag break the labels. Anything can happen live. I was just fumbling around with the set. I think it looks nice. Maybe I'm missing a couple things, but hey, no one's perfect. But as a half hour, 33 minutes of your time, I'm going to ask you some easy questions, some hard-hitting ones, and you can push on me. I'm going to push right back. You can ask me anything you want. Gloves off. You don't have to hold anything back. So the first question I was going to ask you was, how was life growing up?
Life for me was growing up. Growing up was good until I lost my father. I lost my father when I was 12 to suicide. And so after that, that sent me on a downward spiral of trying to find myself. And I was dating, the wrong people. And, that story, I was that girl. My mom was still there, but she was hurting really bad. And so she started taking depression medicine and stuff like that, just trying to cope with the pain. Other than that, I was a cheerleader in high school, so that was fun until I broke my knee. And then I went on a downward spiral because of that. So my childhood up until 18 was kind of up and down, but I think mainly it was tough because I lost my father.
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
No, depression's really hard, and I do suffer from depression, but luckily I have my family with me, and I have my talk show. If I didn't have both of them, God only knows where I would be. But I have a mindset saying, this is what I want to accomplish. So I'm trying to be like a beacon saying, hey, if a kid who was on the spectrum of being retarded can amount to something, then hopefully I'm doing the right thing and being an inspiration.
Absolutely. I seen you on Facebook. I admire your drive, and I'm a motivational speaker, and that's what I tell people. People out here making up all kind of excuses about why they can't do something, and here you are. They told you couldn't do probably a whole list of things, and you conquer every single one of them, and then show them, you know what? I know you said I couldn't, but I'm the one that's going to do the opposite. And that was me too. While they didn't consider it, they didn't tell me I was depressed, and I didn't go to the doctor and get the medical opinions, but I knew that's what I was facing. I was suicidal. I had depression. I had, even after I had my child, I was 20 years old. So I was freshly out of my teens having a baby, and I had postpartum, what they call depression. And so I had all of these things going on, but I refused to allow them to hold me back. So I just kept on pressing and kept on pressing.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, you mentioned you were a cheerleader. How many years were you a cheerleader, and did you ever want to be a professional cheerleader?
You're the first person that actually asked me that, because I always tell people that yes. So when I was in high school, I didn't get to cheer in the ninth grade because my grades were bad. That was the year that I lost my father, and I couldn't find my balance. But if you ever had a mom who helps you find your balance, or else they're going to put you in the ground too. So my mom, she was like, you know what? I understand that you're struggling, but you can't keep coming in here with F's. So she said, she knew I wanted to cheer. So she said, well, if you get at least C's, I'll let you cheer. You got to bring your grades back up. So I brought them back up to A's and B's because I was a smart kid. And yes, when I got out of high school, I wanted to be a Dallas Cowgirl. And when I busted my knee, that dream was out the window.
Well, I'm trying to find the words for it. Well, when you got better, did you still want when you broke your knee, was that like a awakening, saying maybe you're meant to do something else, or did you want to get the rehab and go back to chase your dream?
I think I fell into a funk. If you ever had something happen and you're just like, this is it. This is, my life is over. And I just fell into that place. And I used to listen. This is when I was younger and I wasn't as confident as I am now. I used to listen to external voices tell you, you're too short, you're too thick, because I was not skinny, like the Dallas Cowgirls normally are. Some of them are a little bit bigger, but I was surely not a size 7, 8. Not that I couldn't have worked out and got there. I was just a little bit bigger than they are. And then I was 5 foot tall. And so, of course, they're usually 5'7", 5'10", they're on the tall side. And so people started telling me, you don't fit the bill. You might want to do something different. And I also wanted to go to the military. And so they were saying, well, you can't go to the military and be a cheerleader because they have games when the military may not let you off to be in the game. So my dreams seem to conflict each other. And so, yes, I just threw it out the window and I said, you know what? I guess it's not meant for me. I'll just do something else.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, you mentioned that you were a book author.
I am.
What's some of your favorite books you ever written, and would you ever be interested in girls writing a book?
Yes, my favorite book is actually about the story that I just told you. And it's called Dealing with the Hand I Was Dealt. I wrote it in 2014, and I travel around the world telling my story of redemption and how God turned my life around at about the age of 28, 30, which was only about 8, 9 years ago. And would I ever consider ghostwriting? If I had time, I would. Ghostwriting takes a lot of time and listening to somebody's story and then going to pen it and then bringing it back to them and, asking them, okay, do you like this? Is this something that you agree with? And if they don't like it, you got to toss it out and start over. So probably not right now, because I still have so many dreams and visions and goals of my own that I would do them a disservice by trying to write for them.
The reason I asked, I've been thinking about writing my book over. And unfortunately, I did write a book, but it was all spelling errors and grammar. And I suck at writing, so I'm like, maybe if I dictate the book to someone who's a storyteller, it will come out better. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, I would definitely. I couldn't do it right now, but I could suggest some people that I do know. And what I would probably suggest is that you give them your raw copy, even with the mistakes. Sometimes we can go in and fix the mistakes and add to the story, and that way, and also listening to you tell the story and go repen it. So it may not be that you need to throw the whole first book out. Bring that along with you, and you may just need to add in some stuff. And hearing you tell the story and then reading what you already written will help us to go back and fix it.
It's not a bad idea. I'm thinking about that actually. Now, the next question I was going to ask you was, I saw that you were a CEO of your own company.
Yes, I am. I have 2 companies. I have it's all under one umbrella, but I have a publishing company. So I help people publish books. And unfortunately, I don't ghostwrite, but I can lead people to having their books ghostwritten. And then I also, so we're a one-stop shop company for publishing. So if you want to write a book and you need branding and marketing, you need the editing, you need the book cover design, you don't have to go to a whole bunch of different places to get it done. You just come to me and then I get everything done. And it's
No,
called Publish You.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was called Publish You. You write, we work. Because what I found when I published my own book was that I had to contact so many different people, and I still worked a full-time job. And it's draining for a new author to have to try to do all of that. And it's very expensive to try to go through a major publisher. A lot of people don't have, $4,000 and $5,000 sitting around to pay a major publisher. So I dropped my prices just a bit to be affordable, but still able to execute a very well written, well published book.
Now, who were some of your favorite people that you ever worked with? Do you work with people with this? Well, let me ask you two questions. One about your company. Because you mentioned you help people write books. Have any famous people came to you and say, I want my book to be written by your company, number one? And have you ever worked with people with special needs? Besides me, obviously you're on my show, but have you ever worked with people with special needs, and are you willing to work with people with special needs?
Okay, so I have not had anybody famous come to me yet. Definitely, that really sounds awesome. I can't wait for that phone call. I have had a few local, what I would consider local people in the area who are major personalities in our community, like pastors and doctors and things like that. So I have had that type of influence, and I will work with anybody. I would not say because you have a learning disability, I would not work with you. I would want to, every opportunity to me is an opportunity to grow. I have not had the opportunity yet, but if the opportunity came to me, I would definitely say yes. Let's see if it's a good relationship, not because of your disability, just because I write particular kinds of stories. And so everybody doesn't fit into my category of stories. I usually tell stories of like testimonies, triumph, people that have gone through something. So you in particular, yes, because I know that you're telling your testimony of how you overcome your different disabilities. So definitely.
Well, what's you said for an example, if I may? Say I came to you and I wanted you to write my book. What type of ideas or stories or methods would you use?
Well, the first thing I ask is, what is the message overall? So you're not just chapter one, but after we finish this book, what is the one message that you're trying to get out to the world? And what would your answer be?
Oh, it's directed back at me?
Yeah.
I guess my message would just show you that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. And to prove to them, you can still amount to something. So hashtag break the labels.
Absolutely. I love it. And so after that, after you tell me what your main goal is, then we're going to go back and break down how you're going to tell the story. Are you going to start from childhood up until adulthood? Or are you going to start from adulthood and take flashbacks into your childhood? So I would just find out what your vision is of how we're going to break down the story. Then we'll come up with the chapters. So we're going to come up with all the chapter headings throughout the book. And then that's where you get to take your creative side and go fill in the blanks, because I can't do that for you.
No, it's funny you should mention that, because I wrote a book, by Exuberous. And I said to them before it was published, is it readable? They said yes. Is there any spelling errors? They said no. I said, so the book is readable and editable, no spelling errors? They said yes. That's fine. And so I got it. There's a part in the book where it says my mom, she went to community college. Instead of saying she went to community college, it said she went to comedy college.
Oh, no.
And there's another one where it says I was born on January 24th. It says I rised on January 24th, or I was raised in Orange County, New York. It says I rised in Orange County, New York. So basically, if the book
Right.
was a spoof, yeah, it would be funny for, shits and giggles. But it was supposed to be serious, but to tell the message, But I didn't really like it because it's like, chapter one, life growing up, because, it's from childhood to now, like we were saying, like you mentioned. And I felt like I was complaining because I'm not a good storyteller. I mean, if there's something I really like, I can really write something about it. If I put my, I can't write myself a wet paper bag, but if I'm really passionate about something, I can do it, like the talk show. But, it's like, oh, chapter one, I did this every day. Chapter two, I went to school, and this is what happened, and all the experiences was the teasers. And the title of the book was called, and, a lot of people make fun of me for it. The title of the book was called When You Overcome Controversy, Dreams Do Come True, Even If You Have a Learning Disability. And one's like, one, you can't overcome controversy, or you can, but the person told me you couldn't, so that was an oxymoron. But I'm just showing you, hey, I have a disability, I wrote a book, wasn't a really good one. You can use it for like, killing spiders or whatever, or a door stopper, but it was a start. So yeah, I may want to revitalize that book, but I really want someone to actually tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And, I know you got the opinions of the people. Was anybody that read it and replied to you, did they have a learning disability?
Not really, because as soon as it came out, I was looking at it, and I just told them to pull it as fast as possible because it was all spelling errors.
Gotcha.
But
because I feel like if the people who gave you their opinions weren't looking at it from your view, because the point is that you still got it done. Does it need perfection? Probably, based on the information that you've given me. But a person that had learning disabilities, I bet they would have said, "Good job, man. You did it." You see what I'm saying? Because people, when they're looking through a different lens, they don't see what you see. They see the outside. They see the mistakes. They see everything else, but the fact that at least you got something accomplished. Everything has mistakes. I tell people the reason why iPhone has how many phones now? 10?
Yeah.
Is because every time an iPhone comes out, somebody goes, well, it doesn't have this, and they go make a new version. And so all you have to do is do what iPhone does. You know what? Thank you for making me aware of my mistakes. I'll go make another version of this book. And the more people that tell you, you know what, you missed something, you missed a line, they're just helping you perfect what it is that you want to do.
No, I agree with you. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you is about, you mentioned that you were a motivational, I didn't even speak today. You mentioned that you were a motivational speaker. Who influenced you to become a motivational speaker, and how many years have you been speaking?
I have been speaking for as long as my book has been out, which is about 5 years, because when I wrote my book, people would read it and say, we were so inspired by your story. Can you come and talk to our women's ministry? Can you talk to our girls group? Can you talk to our church? And so that's where I started doing my motivational speaking. And I believe I was just inspired by life. Everybody needs some encouragement. Everybody needs some inspiration, and everybody doesn't have the same thing to say. So Les Brown might have one thing to say. Lisa Nichols might be saying something else. Tony Robbins might be saying something else. And here I am, Brandy Hunt. She has something else to say. And so in just my inspiration, those that I have just named, and just people in general, I want to leave a little bit of light everywhere I go. And motivational speaking was the way that God had me go. And funny, now I also have my own television show.
Oh, nice. What can you tell us about it? How can people see it?
It's on the Now Network. If you're not familiar with that, their website is thenownetwork.org. My show will be on every Friday morning at 10 a.m. starting this Friday. I'm so excited. It's called Journey to Success, and I interview entrepreneurs and business owners on how they got started and some of the pitfalls that they had to success and also their triumphs.
Hey, if you're interested, I would love to do that. Be a guest.
Where are you?
Oh, in New York.
Okay, so it's local. It's a local television show, so I actually have to record from the studio, but I will be happy to do a live, maybe from Facebook with you.
Yeah, I can see what I can do.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you, is it a radio or is it a TV?
It's television. Yeah, it's on television.
And where are you guys based?
South Carolina.
All right, so what about the Now Network? Is it based in South Carolina or?
They're based in South Carolina. We video here, but their network is 29 million homes across the globe. So that's why I say if you don't see it on your television, I know if you have Roku, you can add in the app. If you don't find it that way, you can just stream it from your phone. I know everybody has their smartphone now, so you can stream it from your phone on their website.
Now, do you think I would be a good candidate to work for the Now Network with my story? Do you think they would be interested, or like, what was your story? How did you get their attention?
That is a good question because they emailed me. They just said, hey, we seen what you've been doing in the community. Here I am, like, always out. I'm always promoting. I'm always doing different events and things. And so I don't know if someone sent in my information or if I applied because I don't remember. But at the end of the day, I just know that they said, we love your personality. We want to get you on the show, tell us, if you're interested. And so the first time they asked me was about 3 years ago and I wasn't ready. And so I was just getting my feet wet. I wasn't thinking TV, that's really not my thing. I was an actress at best, but that was more of like stage plays. And so I was like, I'll think about it. And then they asked me again this year and I thought about it and I thought about it and I crunched the numbers and I was like, okay, it's time. And so that's really, so in my personal opinion, I think you make a great television host, again, because people want to see people who are overcomers. People like to see and hear stories from people who made it. People are encouraged and inspired by what I consider we're the underdog. We weren't supposed to make it. We were supposed to give up a long time ago. And so you haven't. And so do I think you'd be a great host? Of course. And I would definitely, in your state, you're in New York. I would love to be there. So I'm sure that there's a ton of opportunities for you to get out there and become the host and great host that I know you can be.
No, absolutely. Now, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you one more subject, and then I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Okay.
Vanessa Lina. I'm Adrian Lalo. Hi, this is Cynthia Bastinet. I'm Sonia Fisher. This is Shane Smith.
My name is Alexandra Bowie. My name is Amelia Clover.
Hi, I'm Amy Linden.
Hi, I'm Anita Nicole Brown.
Meg Green.
Hi, my name is Asata Caldwell. Hi, everybody. I'm Brooke.
Hi, I'm Brynford. Hi, I'm Casey Dunn.
Hi, it's Cassandra Kavinsky.
Hi, I'm Christina Briza.
I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm Courtney Sinella.
Hi, I'm Daisy.
My name is Deborah Jane East.
Hi, my name is Danielle Marcia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Victoria London.
Hi, I'm Heather Crona.
Hi, I'm Heather Callahan Stevens.
Hi, I'm J. Nicole Ralph.
My name is Jamie Patrell. My name is Turi. My name is Julia Brankovich.
Kathleen Wills.
Kimberly Amato.
Hi, my name is Laura Putnam.
Hi, I'm Laura Chapanis.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Damas.
This is Michelle Mupo, a.k.a. Fuchsia. I'm Rachel Olivera.
Hi, my name is Sarah Joy Mount. Hi, I'm Susan Winder.
Hi, everyone. This is Venus Leone.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Dana.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Herrera, and I was just on the Keith Andrew Network. It was tons of fun. We used up all our time and then some. I really recommend this show, and try to be a guest on Keith's show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 567. I'm here with Ms. Hunt. I just want to say thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No, the honor's all mine. Now, the last subject I want to ask you was the last 8 minutes and counting is social media. Can social media make you or break you with everything you accomplish in your life? Has it helped your career, hurt your career, or how do you feel about it?
I love social media. I absolutely love networking, and there's bad stuff and bad people everywhere. So when I hear people say, "Oh, Facebook is the devil," Instagram, they do too much. It's too dramatic. I don't have dramatic people on my page, and if they are causing drama and arguing, or I delete them and add someone that's positive, because I only need positive vibes coming into my life. And so for me, social media has been a blessing. That's how I meet people. That's how I network. That's how I communicate. That's how I advertise and market. I love social media, all the platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I don't do Twitter a lot. I'm getting there. Maybe that's something you can help me with. I don't do Twitter a lot, but that's just because I only have two hands. And so I need help posting and remembering to follow up and comment and stuff like that. But I think social media has been a blessing. There have been instances where people had something smart to say about me, but that's life. I'm not perfect, and neither are they, but they felt like taking our argument to social media was the answer. But I learned quickly not to respond, and eventually it would go away. And that's what happened, because at first I started to be combative, and I said, you know what, that's not me. I'm going to let them have their opinion, and it's going to scroll away. And if they keep on posting it, but people started telling that other person, what are you doing? Why are you trying to bash her character? She's a great person. And so I had good people in my corner to back me on social media. So does it happen? Absolutely. And do I think it could break someone's career? I think because people pay attention to that. If I go post about Chick-fil-A today, we know Chick-fil-A is the bomb. But if I was to start posting about Chick-fil-A, bad service, and I keep posting it, eventually people are going to believe me. They're not going to believe me if I post it today, because they're like, wait, this Chick-fil-A, like their motto is good customer service. So if I got bad customer service at Chick-fil-A, you're not going to believe me. But if I put it every day and start etching it into people's mind, what are they going to start believing? And so whatever you pay attention to on social media is what you believe.
No, I agree with you. And, there's a person I used to know, well, I do know, but whatever. He's like, whatever you read on social media, it's not really true anyway. I mean, I'll give you an example. A long time ago, I was on some talk show named Live from the Morgue. I don't know why it's so freaking morbid. It's a stupid-ass name anyway. Live from the Morgue. So, like, if you're in the morgue, how you have a talk show? So, and they said, oh, breaking news, Robin Williams just died. And I looked up on my end, like, what the hell are you talking about? There's absolutely nothing there. So, guys are full of shit. So it's like, yeah, I can make up shit too. Hitler's running for president. It doesn't make it true. Right. I can make things up too. But that's the problem, People think they act old, big, and bad behind a computer screen. Absolutely. And the reason I don't do audio is because I want to see the person who I'm talking to. So I'm looking at you as you're looking at me, and I did that backwards. You're looking at me as I'm looking at you. And because you can see, this is who I am. I'm not going to hide who I am. And I always have the balls to say, hey, this is who I am. I say it to my own family. This is who I am. You're going to accept me for who I am, or you're going to make friends with the door, and I never ever want to see you again. Because I'm not going to put a mask on. I'm not going to pussyfoot around. I'm not going to kiss your ass or trying to please you. You either will accept me for who I am, or, well, as my grandfather used to say, I lost my hands with you. Because I'm not going to drop whatever I'm doing to please you. It's kind of like, maybe that's why people hate me. Maybe that's why I rub people the wrong way. because I am socially awkward. I have a lot of drama. But whatever, I say what's on my mind and express who I am because it makes me feel better about myself.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But wrapping up, doing something very special just for this month. What is your holiday wishes, and what do you want out of the holiday season?
My holiday wishes. I never really make any. I want my family to be healthy. I do have a daughter that's 18 years old now. So I want us to, just enjoy the holidays. I love the lights. I love Christmas lights. I love going to Christmas plays and caroling. And so during the holidays, I just like to enjoy I have a huge family, so I like to enjoy my family. We always get together for like movie night and stuff like that. And then Christmas Day, we all come together. It's probably like 30 of us in one house to just enjoy each other because tomorrow's not promised. And so during the holidays, I just try to, connect. Like you said, come from behind the screen and actually connect with people because my life is busy. And usually on the weekends, I'm always on the go. And during the Christmas, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I don't plan any major events so that I can be with my family. And what was the other question? Why I enjoyed the holiday. And what was the other one?
Holiday wishes. And it's still a work in progress, but it's the holiday theme of December, so I wanted to end the show something different. So it's like, what do you want out of the holidays, and what are your holiday wishes? So you mentioned you want to be with your family.
And I'm dating this wonderful guy, and so my holiday wish would be that he popped the question on Christmas.
My holiday wish is actually get a girlfriend.
Hey, I'm rooting for you. I know that there's a wonderful lady out there somewhere who will love you. Because you seem to be an awesome guy. And I'm pretty sure other than when people bother you, you're probably down to earth.
It's true. I'm still looking for the right one.
Absolutely.
Now, we're wrapping up on our show. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. But how can people follow you on social media? Like I did mention, I did message you on Twitter to follow me. But are you on Twitter, LinkedIn, Stage 32, or is there any websites you would actually recommend that it's even better to use? That's number one. And number two, when I approached you you can be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after being a guest, how do you feel now, and would you recommend it to other people?
Okay, so first, let me get out where can they contact me. So I'm on all social media as Author Brandy Hunt. And if you don't find it under Author Brandy Hunt, try just Brandy Hunt, Brandy with a Y. My website is authorbrandyhunt.com. And when you first messaged me, I said, it's interesting because you say, hey, I just want to let you know I've got a disability, but I'm starting this talk show. And I wanted to have you on. And I thought about it, and I said, well, I'll go for it. I didn't know what to expect other than you made it apparent. And I guess so that people aren't taken aback by, like, you saying you have a disability. But, again, what I'll tell people that are watching is that you were very persistent, but you were not rude. You say, hey, I'm free this week. Are you free? And what did I always tell you? I'm not free, but one day I will be. And you would just check with me every week. Hey, I'm back on the air. Are you free? Sometimes you wouldn't say anything. You would just wave. And I think that persistence really told me, for one, I'm not going to stop, but not in a rude way. But two, I really want you to be on my show. And I do people the same way because I understand people have a life. But if I want you to be on my show, I want you to be on my show for a reason. I see something in you that I feel will help the people of my audience. And so I thank you for seeing that in me, because you could have picked anybody. And so at the end of the day, your persistence, your dedication, your willingness is what's going to get you to the top. And you just keep going, because at the end of the day, your wings are going to go and it's going to take you far. And was that it? yes, how they can contact me and what I thought about when you messaged me.
Now, wrap it up your interview segment. I do have a couple questions for you off the air. And you mentioned the disability, wrapping up real fast. What antagonizes me is people like, you say you have a learning disability, but I don't see what it is. Just because you don't see it, it doesn't mean it's not fair. It's like the big big imaginary elephant in the room. You know, people say, let's talk about it. And my dog's barking over me. Shut up, Fifi! Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not fair. So it's like, yeah, I'm not, missing a hand or an arm, so it's not physical. Mine, unfortunately, is more mental. That's why it takes me longer. I hesitate. I was spazzing, when I was trying to actually the questions because I hesitate. But I'm showing you, look at what I'm able to accomplish.
Absolutely. And I have a nephew who was diagnosed with autism when he was maybe 5 or 6. And his mom, they wanted to put him in the disability class. And his mom asked him not to. Because I know, even probably with you, you don't want to feel like you're an outcast all the time. And so she would just work with him. And do you know that he made straight A's all the way through without being in a learning disabled class? And now I get that being in there probably helps him to be hands-on more. Yeah. But his mom was like, you know what? I don't want him to feel like he doesn't have to meet a regular standard. And so she would push him, and he made C's for the first grade, maybe the second grade. But as he started to come into who he was and just really push, just like you are, he's excelled. He's driving. You wouldn't know unless you knew him back then, but you wouldn't know that he had all of these struggles up until he just graduated high school, A's and B's, and he's on into going to college and maybe even go to the military. And so disability doesn't mean disqualified.
No, absolutely. I mean, you can say that for our next time we're on the show. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and stay tuned for Off the Air.